journey. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Couple announcements for all of you, just with a housekeeping thing with regards to the app. So when you are trying to enter the challenge for this quarter, you just have to make sure you go to your dashboard and log photos from there. So from your dashboard, it'll say quarter one transformation at the top. You need to follow that. It's going to give you the rules and then hit enter challenge. If you take photos just for the assessment or you take photos just from your settings, like if you go to your settings, photos, and then take new ones, that is not going to enter you for the challenge. You have to make sure you go on the dashboard. And for some reason, if yours is glitching, let me know, and I can help you figure it out. But like mine is glitching and whatnot. So again, it's just different because we're doing a quarterly challenge instead of how we would do it before. So wanted to mention that right off the bat. And other thing is assessments are open. As always, please just get them in ASAP. We do them as they come in and we try to get them back to you guys as fast as we can, but they're open and ready for you. And for those of you guys that have trackers for this month, please also send your trackers along too, because a large part of that is visual things. Like how are we doing with our visuals? Are we looking at that and maybe we put one fruit and one veggie per day and we're consistently falling short on that. So we kind of need to pick it up in the days to come, or in the next couple of weeks. Again, it's just a good reminder for us. So what we're going to dive into today is we are going to build a sample day of eating together. I know that I talk a lot about pre-tracking and pre-tracking your food, getting things in the app, doing things ahead of time to make things simpler for you. And so there's going to be a couple different benchmarks that we're going to follow for this. And I encourage you all, again, to participate through this, because this, if you felt like pre-tracking has been hard for you, or you haven't been able to do it, or you haven't figured out how to get the portions perfectly set out, we're going to go through and we're going to do that. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all. We are going to use my macros, okay? Just because I have like my First Form app uploaded. Now, obviously, every single one of yours are a little bit different, and that's perfectly fine. But the overall goal is going to stay the same, that we are going to try to hit our protein, our carbs, and our fats near perfectly. And I'm going to show you deliberately, if we put some things in, how we might have to adjust and take things out. So the whole goal with pre-tracking is tracking and then eating, not necessarily eating and then tracking. So we're going to try to hit, obviously, like I said, the protein, the carbs. We're going to work in some fruits and veggies. We're going to try to stay within our fat goal. And I'm going to show you realistically how actually easy this is. So who has an idea down below for me for breakfast? Let's start with our first meal of the day. What are we going to eat for breakfast?
Eggs and sourdough.
Like it. I'm an eggs girly through and through, Chrissy. So let's say that I'm going to eat two eggs and I'm going to eat a piece of sourdough.
Put some
I,
veggies in there.
thank you. Yeah, I like it. So I'll just pick this first one, this sourdough, especially if you get like a really big piece. The accuracy of 33 carbs for like one slice of sourdough is probably pretty accurate. So let's say that I have my eggs there and I'm going to dump in some spinach as well. I'm just going to do a cup of spinach. I'm not sure if you guys know this about spinach, but obviously a cup of spinach, dry it really ends up not being that much, but when you cook it down, you can hardly tell that it's there. But look, it's got 5 grams of protein just for a cup of spinach. So we love to see it. Now, something I like to keep in the back of my mind as we're planning this. So let's say that I've got eggs, sourdough, and I've got some spinach. I'm probably going to put in some butter in there in just a second. But something I like to do for quick math is if you're someone who eats 4 meals a day, if you eat 5 meals a day, I would recommend taking your protein goal and divide that by the amount of meals that you're consuming. So let's say that I want to try to shoot for 5 meals. That means minimum, I need to have 28 grams of protein per meal in order to hit that protein goal throughout the day if I'm sticking with that. So if I've got a meal like 25 grams of protein for breakfast already, I'm going to have to play catch up somewhere in the back half of the day if I don't get that straightened out. So what is another thing that we could do? And I'll put like a half tablespoon of butter in here. What's another thing that we could do for to add some protein to this breakfast?
I like Crystal's idea of the egg whites,
There
and
we
then
go.
I was gonna say a little fat for cheese maybe, but I'm a cheese
I love it,
girl.
Allison. We can add that in there. And I thank you because I cannot see the chat right now as we're going through this. So if you guys have anything to add, you're going to want to unmute and share with me. So let's say that I'm going to do, I don't know, I'll just pick like 3 tablespoons of egg whites and then Allison wants some fat-free cheese. I love it. That's perfect. More cheese. Um, Allison, when you normally do the fat-free cheese, do you do like a serving of it or do you do an ounce specific?
I usually do like a little measuring cup, not by ounces, but like a fourth of a cup maybe.
Okay, let's see what that would be. So, okay, we'll go with that. Let's say we're gonna do a fourth of a cup. So this is looking pretty balanced so far. I've got 39 grams of protein, which is a great start for my day. I've got 43 carbs and 17 fats. Now, I personally have a little bit of a higher carb goal than maybe like some people on the team, which is perfectly okay. What you could do to scale that back, just cut your sourdough in half, right? You could have a half of a piece of sourdough, that would be no problem. Maybe you switch it to an English muffin, something that's a little bit lower carb, or you skip it all together. Totally fine. So, okay, I like it. Let's work on a snack for meal two. What are we going to have for a snack?
Greek yogurt and berries.
I like it, Christy. Cool. So let's do some Greek yogurt. Now, typically when I do Greek yogurt, I do about 6 ounces. So let's say that I'm going to do roughly anywhere from 5 to 6. We'll just choose 6. So I'm gonna have 6 ounces. I'm gonna have mixed berries. I like this one. Let's say that I'm gonna have like a half cup of that. And if we're going with this for the snack route, I'm seeing that so far I've got 18 grams of protein with this and a healthy amount of carbs, right? I've got 14 carbs. What can I do? I'm going to hint you towards it. Think supplementation wise, but I could easily add to this to beef up my protein just a little bit more.
Some
Level
level
one.
one.
Yeah, let's go. Level one. Okay. So I will say I'm going to put this one in there because it's the first one that's popped up because it's one I used recently. The ice cream cookie level one is fantastic. It's great, especially in those oat bars that I just posted. It is phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. So good. Okay. So we've got some Greek yogurt, we've got some berries, and we've got some level one. That protein's very much going to satiate me. So before even lunch, I have nearly 80 grams of protein down. This is fantastic because by lunch, I can have, 30 grams of protein and then I can have 30 grams of protein for dinner. I could work in some Formula One if I needed to. I could have a higher carb lunch if I needed to. But also looking at your protein goal here too, this may be something where you're easily just able to back it down to about a half scoop or so. So you don't always have to use the full scoop. You can work in a half scoop. But let's pay attention to this carb goal here. So if I have quite a bit of carbs that I still need to hit, and I'm trying to work in some fruits and veggies, what's maybe another good fruit option for us to pair with this snack here?
A banana?
Yeah, I like a banana. That's great. So we'll do the default one. So like the medium size in here. Okay, perfect. So I like to look at this in terms of if I've got but before lunch, if I've got a little bit less than half my calories down for the day, like I'm doing really well and I'm tracking in a really great progression like for the day. So something that you can get into, and again, this is more so advanced, but what you can think about is training optimization. Like what time are you training? Let's say that this day I was doing train with Kelsey in the afternoon. I would want to have like 3/4 of my carbs down by that time. So I really have a ton of fuel for my workout. Now, sometimes I absolutely record train with Kelsey in the morning, so I don't always have that down, but you could start to see like this would be a really great satisfactory point for me to work out. And the more food that I'd have before that, the more fuel that I would have. So I love it. Okay, let's say that I'm gonna do a lunch. Doesn't have to be like super big, but what are we thinking for lunch? Let's put something together. What about should we do like
Chicken.
okay, Chris says chicken. We'll do chicken. What if we did like a chicken salad? How about that?
Perfect.
Okay. So let's choose some chicken breast and let's just say that we're gonna do, I usually do like 3.5 to 4 ounces of chicken. So, whoa, not 33. That'd be a lot. So let's say I choose 3.5. I'm gonna have some lettuce to make a salad out of. So I will do and I'll measure out 2 cups or so. So with something like this with lettuce and chicken, we're making it a taco salad. So let's add some corn with this. This is usually what I do. It's really easy. So I usually choose like a 1/4 cup of corn. I'll choose some black beans. And maybe we want to add, maybe for you guys, I wouldn't add it myself, but this is a really great way to add up a whole bunch of veggies. Maybe have some salsa. So let's say that we have like a 1/4 cup of salsa. And maybe we have some sour cream. You also could use plain Greek yogurt to like flavor up as well. Let's just say that we have 2 tablespoons of that. So let's say that that's going to be our lunch. So we've got 39 grams of protein, we've got 27 carbs, and we've got 9 fats. Now, let's look at again that carb goal. So for the back half of the day, I probably don't want to save 70 grams of carbs for the back half of the day. That would just be a lot at once. So, what's something else that we could add to this meal? Think like Chipotle style that would give it a little bit more beef, but would also help me get closer to that carb goal.
What about a wrap?
Yeah, we could do a wrap. So let's do a low carb wrap. The other thing that we could do is even like maybe like a brown rice or something like that. So maybe I have a low carb wrap. Okay, so that's going to help me get a little bit closer. And here's how we can play around a little bit. And I'm really glad that you said that, Allison, because if we have a low carb wrap, and we're only getting 13 grams of carbs here, and maybe I want to get a little bit farther. The easy thing to do is let's say, okay, I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to swipe it to the left. I'm going to delete it out. And let's search a brown rice and see if I had half cup of brown rice, if that gets me a little bit closer. And it does. I would only have 46 grams of carbs left. So this is where the beauty of pre-tracking comes in. If you're noticing, okay, maybe I want to have a wrap, or maybe I could have had 2 wraps, but maybe then that's going to, push me too far over on my fiber goal. Because remember, it's tracking our fiber up here at the top as well. We've already hit our fiber for the day. So if you're someone who's really sensitive to fiber, maybe that low carb, high fiber wrap wouldn't be super great for you because you might have some digestive issues the following day. So paying attention to those things are important, but it's like, okay, do I choose the wrap or 2 wraps, or do I choose brown rice? So this is where we get into comparing and contrasting what is going to fuel me the best. So awesome. Okay. This is what we're working with right now. Let's say that I'm going to jump to dinner. I'm not going to have an afternoon snack here. I'm going to jump to dinner. So what do we got an idea for our last meal of the day? What's our protein that we want to use first? Let's start there.
Let's do steak.
Oh, I love some steak, Crystal. I like it. And that's a really great thing that we noticed that we could allot for in today, because if you've noticed, so my fat goal is 65. I've used less than half of my fat goal, so I can have a fattier meat at the end of the day, maybe like a pork loin or a steak or full fat ground beef, like an 80-20 ground beef. Whereas if I only had 15 grams of fat left, I'd probably be looking at chicken or turkey, or maybe even making like a deli wrap or something like that. So let's say that I have 4 ounces of steak. What else do we want to pair with our steak, knowing that we've got 46 carbs left? We've hit our protein goal, but remember, we can go over our protein goal, and we do have some fat left. So what am I going to add with my steak?
A sweet potato.
Oh, love it. That's what I'm about to have tonight. So I'm excited. Let's say that I have, do we want to do a whole sweet potato? We can do that. So we've got a whole sweet potato. That's perfect. But we still have a few carbs left, and we still have a few fat left. What is something else that maybe we could add to this?
Some butter.
Yeah.
Add the
Keep
butter.
it simple, right? Some butter, or if you're cooking them in, olive oil or something like that. So maybe we'll switch that up and just put olive oil, since we had the butter in the earlier half of the day. So let's say that we had a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay, great. So we've hit our fats, we've hit our protein, but we still have a few different carbs left. And that's super important for our overall performance in the gym. So what are some other things that I could add to this to make up for those carbs that I still need to hit?
Green beans.
There we go. Green beans. I like it. Let's say that we do a cup of those, and that's where it gets us. So with this, we've hit our calorie goal, we've hit our protein goal, we've hit our fat goal. Now, if we really wanted to hit these last little bits of carbs, which I do usually on a daily basis, let's say that we're having some broccoli and we're just going to have a little bit more of some green veggies here. You can, again, play around with it. Maybe you need 5 florets, maybe you need 7, maybe you need to go back in and you need to hit 10. Again, this is how the numbers of pre-tracking work to see, okay, as I'm building it throughout the day, breakfast is balanced with nearly 40 grams of protein, 43 carbs, 17 fats. Then my snack is 30 grams of protein, 42 carbs, 2 fats. So it's a very low fat snack. It's fantastic. Then we're going to get a little bit of a higher carb for our lunch. We're going to have 41 protein, almost 50 carbs, 10 fats. And then we're going to have balanced in the back half of the day of those proteins, carbs, and fats as well. So this is really how you can start to sit back and plan out. Okay, again, if I had, 30 grams of fat left, yes, I can have a steak. But if I've got 5 grams of fat left, is steak going to be probably the best option for me? Maybe not. So something else you can do with pre-tracking is you can put your last meal of the day in, especially if you're having steak. Maybe you're going to a birthday party and you're going to eat a cupcake or some pie or a carrot cake or something. Put it in your day and reverse engineer it. But this is truly how simple it is. And when we go to the top, we've also absolutely crushed our fiber goal for the day. And if we end up finding out like, hey, this is actually too much fiber, look at where you're getting a lot of that fiber throughout the day. You're getting 4 grams of fiber from your spinach. You're getting 3 grams of fiber from your berries. You're getting another 4 grams of fiber from the black beans. And you're getting some from like obviously green beans, broccoli, sweet potato. So maybe you decide to take out the beans for lunch. Well, then you notice, okay, I'm 15 grams of carbs short again, and I'm a little bit short on calories. Maybe I want to go back up here to my snack, and maybe I will then add in half of an apple and I modify like that. So again, this is how you easily tweak, change, and modify your days. So what is really easy to think about doing is once you have a blueprint day like this that you set out, maybe you have breakfast like this for a couple days and then you're sick of it. What you're going to do is you'll delete all those things out of there and then figure out, how do I work those macros back with different foods? Maybe I want to work in some overnight oats or I want to work in some egg cups that I made or a quiche or something like that. Again, all about reverse engineering. But I wanted to show you guys and do this with you, that every single one of you has the capability to pre-track your days. You have the power to do it. And truly, it really didn't take us that long. And we didn't have a ton of modifications to make too. And look at all the amount of veggies we're getting in throughout the day. We've got spinach. For fruits, we've got berries, a banana, and an apple. We bring back lettuce, corn, salsa, sweet potatoes, green beans, and broccoli. Like, we're hitting our 5 to 7 servings of veggies. Maybe we could work on the fruits a little bit in the future, but that's where your gaps come in of taking greens, taking microfactor, taking things like that. So I wanted to break that down for y'all, and I hope it's helpful seeing that on a daily basis. So when I do sample days for you guys, that's exactly what I do. I go on the app and I change around portions, change around and modify things, but you do it once and then you really start to figure out, okay, I can make a 40-gram breakfast easy. I could do the same thing for lunch, or especially if you're, again, getting into the optimization of your training. Okay, I've got a really hard workout this afternoon. I need to make sure 3/4 of my carbs are done for the day before I attack that. This is exactly how you do it. So was this helpful for us to go through together? Yeah.
Yes, it was very helpful.
Good. Okay. So again, I figured I would show you my macros because they're a lot more realistic than Logan's macros. Logan eats so much food. You guys would be like, I can't even think about eating this much food. So with that being said, something I want you to focus on again is, if you don't already pre-track, getting into the habit of pre-tracking, but then taking that pre-tracking into your weekends as well, because weekends are the same thing as weekdays. Yes, we're a little bit more busy. Yes, we're a little bit more occupied, but if you have to set timers to eat, reminders to eat, whatever it may be, again, weekends make up, 30% of your week, but they also make up 30% of your year too. So if you're not continuing that meal prep into the weekends, make sure you have enough for the weekends. Make sure you have enough available for that. So again, I know some of you guys, and those of you that are watching the recording, a lot of you guys pre-track, but maybe you've gotten away from it, or maybe it feels like a very monumental task. Here's some really good foundational meals that we just went through, steak, potatoes, green beans, a taco salad, and then a really easy eggs and breakfast, like simple breakfast with sourdough toast. You could add in bacon, you could add in turkey bacon, a snack that usually everybody loves, of Greek yogurt and protein powder and some fruit. Like, go nuts with it. But I wanted to go over this because I looked back at the last time we did a pre-tracking call and it was like a year and a half ago. So I figured bring it to the forefront of our minds. And this is a place for collaboration. If you guys come up with a really great meal that has awesome macros, share it in the Facebook group, share it with other people, right? We're not here to like gatekeep our super awesome meals, but also this continually shows the people in the Facebook group. Because remember, not everybody there is in the app. Hey, it really can be that simple to put it together. You guys are so fortunate you have the knowledge, protein, carb, fat. Like that's working knowledge for you. It's not always working knowledge for everybody. So it's really cool when you guys share those things because other people say, you know what, I have those things in my fridge. I could make that. And lo and behold, you're getting them closer to their health and fitness goals. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being interactive with it. It's only going to make you better on your fitness journey too. So being able to whip out a sample day of eating or your pre-track day should take you no less than 5 minutes. And the faster and faster you get at it, I know Chrissy pre-tracks her days quite a bit. You get super fast at it and you just know, okay, boop, this has got to go here. I've got to move this here. And as you saw, we only used a very little amount of supplemental protein, right? You could have substituted a whole meal for Formula One. You could throw in a level 1 bar. You could throw in, a protein stick. All of those things fit in there, but think about like, okay, Whole Foods, what can I do with that? Fill in the gaps with the rest of the stuff. So that's what I've got for you guys tonight. I appreciate y'all being here with me. No real big homework from the team call, but if you have not expanded upon your goals that we set last week, like those physical goals, you still haven't gotten them over to us, please send those over to us this week because we want to start helping you build a game plan. And a lot of you have push-ups and pull-up goals. Logan and I are working on a catch-all program for like, how do you progress your pull-ups? How do you progress your push-ups? And how often do you do that? Because a lot of you are like, okay, I have this goal, but I don't know how often to practice it. We're working on that and we'll put it together for you guys. So have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you here back next Wednesday, and we're going to keep our calls every week. We might move them an hour earlier. So again, if you're someone who would desire them an hour earlier, shoot me that as a message. Let me know. But everybody, the majority was once a week, just to keep it on the calendar so we don't forget, do we have it this week or don't we have it this week? So I look forward to hearing back from you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye.